A beautiful morning in Rome ahead of round 5 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. This is the Marconi obelisk, named after Guglielmo Marconi, who invented radio back in the early 1920s and 1930s. And this is free practice 3 ahead of round 5 of the season. So far, we have had a double header in Diria to start the season. Then we moved on to a race in Mexico City, which was won by Pascal Wehrlein. Mitch Evans won the race here in Rome yesterday. And we've got another one coming up now. Monaco, Berlin, Jakarta, Vancouver, New York, London and Seoul, the rest of the season. So that win for Mitch Evans, as we look at Antonio Felix da Costa stretching his way at the start of the day. Nick de Vries, difficult race yesterday for the reigning champion. Oliver Askew rubbing his hands together as he looks forward to a better day today. And Andre Lotterer, double points for Porsche yesterday, but that man Mitch Evans taking the win, a dominant win yesterday by 5.6 seconds in the end. And it hasn't put him completely into championship contention, but he has moved up the table to 8th position, so he's still a way off Eduardo Mortara, but Mortara didn't score, Van Dorn scored, de Vries didn't score, so the top sort of 5 or 6 have all jumbled up a little bit. Further down, you've still got those 5 drivers yet to get off the mark: Sims, Turvey, Sette Camera, Tictum and Giovinazzi. So we are going to now have a look at the team's championship points, because that had a little bit of a change around, especially at the top. Mercedes EQ now hitting the top of the championship, 10 points clear of Rocket Venturi Racing. Tag Heuer Porsche now in 3rd. They dropped back a little bit. DS Techeetah's points haul brought them a little more up into the fight. The same is true actually of Envision and Jaguar. It's all closed up a lot more in the team's championship. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me here on this beautiful day in Rome is Dario Franchitti, and this is the racetrack.
Good morning, Jack. I would say more the battlefield. It put on a terrific show yesterday, and immediately down the hill, turn 1, steeply downhill through the kinks at 1, 2, braking for 3. This was off the start line. A lot of moves made into turn 4 yesterday. Up the hill, there was all kinds of action through the kink 5, 6, heavy braking over the jumps in turn 7, another action hotspot. Turn 8, 9, 10, 11, this whole rhythm section, and then the bumpy straight into the chicane of 12 and 13. Attack mode around the Marconi hairpin on the outside. The key tactical decisions of when and when not to take attack mode. That is a lap of Rome, and I'm looking forward to today's race.
So am I. Yesterday's was a really, really good motor race, and we have a lovely, beautiful day. The sun beating down on Via delle Tre Fontane, and Jean-Eric Vergne had a good day yesterday. 4th place finish for the DS Techeetah driver, double champion in the past, and he was fairly satisfied with 4th position as he gets ready to head out for free practice 3, another half-hour session.
And, look at the pit lane though, Jack. It's damp. It clearly rained overnight, so there's going to be damp patches to the track, and under the trees it's not going to dry up in the half hour of free practice 3, so it'll be interesting to see how much the teams can actually learn. Overnight there was a lot of learning going on back at the bases as the test drivers and the simulator drivers were in there trying to figure out what the teams did right and wrong yesterday and trying to make progress overnight.
Well, one team that went particularly wrong for yesterday was Jake Dennis. He was up in 2nd place at one point, and he said to me after the race that he knew in hindsight that it wasn't a real 2nd place because they were using more energy than everybody else, but he still felt that if they'd have gone to the same race plan as everyone else, they could have finished at least in 4th position, just behind this man Stoffel Van Dorn, who finished 3rd.
Do you think they miscalculated on the number of laps of the race?
Well, the thing is, if they did, they miscalculated sort of by 2 laps. Because he was almost a sort of lap shorter than everybody else, and everybody else had 2 laps available at the end. So it was a big miscalculation if that was what happened.
Yeah, it's almost like in the middle of the race they realised they had to save some energy because they thought the race was going to be X laps, and then it ended up being shorter. And, oh, we didn't have to do that at all. But yeah, rough day for Jake Dennis and the Andretti guys.
Andre Lotterer, 8th and 10th. He was 10th. Berline was 8th yesterday for Porsche. He's taking his time a little before heading out onto the circuit just to let some of the traffic go. Same true of the Mercedes. Even though they are right at the end of the pit lane, they've decided they don't want to be the track sweepers this morning.
Yeah, exactly that, and try and dry the track up. I wonder if there's some of that going on. Man, Stoffel Van Dorn had a good race yesterday. Definitely in the fight, and it was a cracking battle between him, Mitch Evans, and the various other ones that came in and got involved. Yeah, lovely motor race as we see Sam Bird. I thought Sam, his race yesterday was mighty. Not quite as mighty as Mitch Evans and the number 9 Jaguar, but Sam Bird came through the field. And are we expecting big things from Jaguar today? I would say so.
Well, they have to be the favourite, don't they? Because they looked just a class above the field yesterday. And I think it was DaCosta said yesterday, you know, Mitch Evans caught up with us and then he went past and then he disappeared. I don't know what he was driving, but he was gone. And Bird said on the grid, 13th on the grid, he said, top 5, I'd consider that a good day. I was thinking, well, yeah, of course you would, because that's never going to happen. But he did. He made it through to 5th position.
Well, we've seen this before in double headers. The first race, a team or manufacturer has a big advantage, and then it all turns round on the second race. So let's see if Jaguar can keep that run of form going.
The Avalanche Andretti's as we come down now towards the left-hander at the Marconi hairpin. Robin Freintz going through attack mode, as does one of the Andretti's. Jake Dennis has switched back to his new helmet for the day-to-day. I think he raced in his old one yesterday. Asked him why. He said, "Oh no, I think he might have done the race in it yesterday too." But I can't remember.
Yeah, he did the race in the red one. Now he's gone to a white helmet, which, helpfully for us, is identical to his teammate Oliver Askew.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jake.
Less than 28 minutes to go. There goes DaCosta, there goes Cassidy, there goes Freintz, there goes Askew, who's at the head of the queue.
Freintz had a lovely race yesterday.
Yeah, he did. And he had a really fun race as well, he said, with Stoffel Van Dorn. They were swapping places, it must have been 3 or 4 times. They swapped positions, and the Envision strategy nearly played off perfectly as well when he pushed that to build that gap before going through attack mode and then didn't lose the place. It was all very smart.
Yeah, he was looking really good at that point. But I think Robin, I know you're his biggest fan, Jack, but when he first showed up in the series, he was very much hit or miss. In that he had these great performances and these absolutely terrible ones, big mistakes. He's become a very now consistent driver. He's got rid of those troughs as much as anything, and he's really, becoming a championship contender through his obviously undoubted speed, but also consistency.
Edo Mortara kept the championship lead yesterday. He lost positions at the end of the race due to a 5-second time penalty for the collision with Oliver Rowland on the opening lap, but still classified as 7th, so he's 3 points ahead of Stoffel Van Dorn in the championship, 7 points ahead of Robin Freintz, who's 3rd, 10 points ahead of Jean-Eric Verne, who's 4th, 11 points ahead of Nick de Vries, who's 5th. So it is still pretty tight at the top of the championship. James Barclay, team principal, watching, well, trying to sort out his radio, but then we'll turn and watch Mitch Evans dropping down the hill in a race power full attack run by the looks of things, down to the left-hander at Luna Park.
Yeah, the track looks quite dry down there. And it seems there's a break now into turn 4. You hear the car hitting the ground. You can see where the driver's sitting. Watch that slam into the ground. It's about to do it in turn 7 in a couple of corners' time. Important to get out of turn 4 well, up through these kinks. Watch as the side street blends into the circuit, the big bump. Just past it. Now you've got to set up for the braking zone. Try and pick the least bumpy area. Into 7. A lot of action there yesterday. Jaguar, unsurprisingly, the balance of the car looks very good. And that's one thing Mitch Evans kept saying yesterday. The balance of the car was so good. It allowed him to save so much energy and continue to drive quickly.
That's the Coliseo Quadrato. Now out towards the chicane.
The chicane caught a few people out yesterday just because it is so narrow and you've got to be so accurate, especially that wall in the middle of the shot there, took a couple of right-hand corners out of Oliver Askew and Andre Lotto yesterday through 14. Mitch Evans has got that,
fairly effortless.
Yeah, well, Mitch has got that beautiful smooth style. You wouldn't know if he was driving to the shops or on a qualifying lap, and that's I think that's one of his great gifts, is how smooth he can drive. And I think he's always had that sort of style as he comes to turn 18, now turn 19, end of the lap. Let's see where this puts him. 1 minute 43.0.
So the quickest lap time we had yesterday was a 39.0. No, I think we got into the 38s in qualifying, actually, didn't we? The high 38s. So still a long way off that kind of pace. As we have a look at Nick Cassidy coming into turn 4 with a big lockup. It's always something that I think it was Sam Bird was saying the other day. Oh, I think he'll get away with that, Nick Cassidy. Tries to do the classic Yui.
Yeah, now his team have seen where the damage came from. But look at the diffuser. You hear it, he hit the diffuser and he's broken the diffuser. His question is, has he broken the bodywork above the left rear wheel as well?
I don't think he's come back into the pits as of yet. In fact, France is still out there. Degrassi and Mortara came back into the pits after a lap. The lap times are coming in thick and fast at the moment, but still fairly unrepresentative as they climb the hill now towards turn 7. Hashtag Rome E-Prix.
Red flag.
If you want to get in touch, and the red flag is out. Yellow at turn 12.
The chicane
okay.
Again. And that's, like we just said, there's generally not small crashes.
Okay, we're going to be down here for a minute to collect Mr. Askew, who stopped prior to turn 14.
Now, does this mean he's had a little incident with the chicane again?
Oliver
Askew.
I mean, it looks a little bit suspicious, doesn't it, in that that's exactly where he pulled over yesterday after hitting the chicane. So it may just be coincidence that he's broken down at that point.
I hope so.
So does he.
Yeah, Roger Griffiths, team principal of the Andretti team.
So red flag out. Cars will return to the pits.
Neither Venturi has actually done a representative lap yet. They're probably just waiting for the track conditions to fully dry up.
Yeah, they went out, did a sort of in-store lap, as it were, and then came straight back in, and then they just left again when the red flag came out. Degrassi was still just in the middle sector when the red flag was deployed. The clock will keep ticking. I always find doubleheaders interesting because what are you going to see on the second day? Because so often you don't see the same thing. You think you'll see the same thing,
yeah,
you won't.
No, I mean, how many times? I think in Diriyah, Mercedes, day one, so dominant, but here we go. And yeah, completely reversal in day 2. Max Günther, he was out in lap 1 yesterday, had some contact with his teammate up into turn 7, damaged the car, and ended up in turn 9, I believe, in turn 10, into the wall with some suspension damage.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's rolling. This is good.
It's a positive.
Wonder if it's a drive shaft issue. We've seen definitely some of those with the bumps, and again, how close they cut everything with the transmissions in these cars, trying to get rid of as much mechanical drag as possible, and they're susceptible to some issues with the drive shaft.
Mortara was decent yesterday, I thought, because he finished in 5th for the Rocket Venturi team. Not too far behind Stoffel Van Dorn, who's obviously the Works Mercedes EQ driver. And I always think with Mortara, I really like... Oh, here's a look at what happened with Askew then. Does he hit the wall?
No. No. Yeah, it does look like it's mechanical because he hasn't hit the wall. Yeah, sorry, continue your Mortara thought.
But I almost wouldn't know how to describe him as a driver. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of the drivers have sort of driving personalities. But is Mortara an aggressive overtaker? No, he's just a good, clean overtaker. Is he a absolute qualifying master? He's never had a pole position. He's got the most races in Formula E without having a pole position, but he always qualifies well. He's a good qualifier. So you know what I mean?
I do. When he first showed up, whoever had that sort of wide-eyed, crazy style, he was leading the race in Hong Kong, spun, you know, we all talked about how good he was at Macau and everything, but he's definitely settled into a more consistent style
And then
of driving.
he'll chuck in that move where he goes between two people in Diriyah a couple of years ago, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, again, he was championship contender up until, through no fault of his own, was taken out of the last round in Berlin last year. But I think now he's a proper team leader.
Okay, guys, this is race control. This is going to be a short call. Once everybody's back in the garage, we'll go back. But it's going to be a short call.
If I owned the team, I'd be thinking about putting him in the car. I like his...
What, if you had the choice of the whole grid?
Yeah, I like his style. I like his style. He gets a lot out of the Venturi package as well, and helps to guide it. And I think with Lucas Di Grassi now, they've got a very strong team.
Had a strong season in 2010 as Oliver Rowland.
So the low sun is obviously bothering him at certain parts of the circuit. So he's just been a bit of going back to his karting days and putting a little bit of tape lower down just to block the sun. That's the view from inside Oliver Rowland's helmet.
Yeah, sun. It started off low yesterday for free practice one, but it fairly quickly clouded over. But it's not, I don't think, meant to cloud over today, so it will be an issue for the rest of this session. Then the sun will get high enough and it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And light goes green at the end of the pit lane. Session gets back underway. The two Mercedes fire straight out, as do the DS to Cheetahs. Alexander Sims, still pointless so far this season. Finished 12th yesterday, his best result of the season, but not quite enough to score any points as they make their way back out onto the track. Just my point about Eduardo Mortara. Won the 2010 Formula 3 Euro Series Championship, beat Marco Wittmann, Valtteri Bottas, Sims, Roberto Merri, Lawrence Van Door, Antonio Felix da Costa. So a pretty decent junior career for Eduardo Mortara. Obviously a lot, one at Macau, I think, also.
He's won at Macau 100 times or something,
yeah,
isn't
exactly.
he? Yeah. And to me, you don't win at Macau unless you are massively talented. It is, to me, the ultimate street circuit.
6th in 1994.
Yeah, exactly.
17 and a half minutes to go then. Cars back out on track. Now, if Jaguar can qualify well, that's got to be their big aim for today. Obviously, it's been their big aim every race, and it just hasn't quite worked out. Bird was very unfortunate with traffic yesterday. It was, we saw it in the race show yesterday, but he was blocked by Buemi, like there's no doubt about it. But it's like they were out of sequence with the rest of the field, and that's why he ended up getting blocked, because everyone was an out lap, he's on a hot lap. So whilst it's not his fault, are there ways Jaguar can sort of minimise that by not committing to an offset or that sort of thing?
Absolutely. So my theory on it is, you said it yesterday, Jack. Jaguar need a big day. That's a very nervous garage yesterday morning, the Jaguar garage. And because of that, I think they were too conservative in qualifying. They didn't attack. They kind of said, oh, we'll just take the most sort of easy option. Not easy, that's the wrong word, but the most safest option. And it bit them, and that's what happened. They won't do it today. Here's driver's eye with Sam Bird down the hill, turn one. Getting a little bit of energy saving here. This is a race run through 3. Nice and smooth again. See how much he lifts and coasts here. A little bit. Regenerating it, putting energy back into the battery. Now look how steep the hill is here, out of 4. Letting traffic go. I was going to say it's an odd place to lift and coast. As steep as that hill is, you would stop. Now watch this, the hill's about to get a lot steeper as he looks down to his dash. Even at that speed, you hear the car hitting the ground and locking. Oh, bit of traffic. Now, obviously the human eye reacts quicker than the camera to the different lights and stuff, but you can see the shadows, the sunshine, and it's actually difficult when a corner goes into shadows to position the car with accuracy. There's a yellow at turn 7. I wonder if that traffic has pulled over and stopped.
It looked very slow and in an odd place, didn't it?
It really did. Like up to turn 12, 13. Let's look how tight the chicane is.
It was Robin Freitz that had pulled over, and I think he is still going now, so track clear at turn 7.
Sandberg definitely on a slow lap now. And Mahindra going past. Into the Marconi hairpin. Actually gives you some time to see what's going on around you, but the drivers are only interested in what is below that wall. Anything above the wall, trust me, they're not seeing any of that stuff. They're just seeing the wall, the apex wall now. Now the sight line goes straight to that orange part, then the curb. Now you're looking already to turn 19. Apex, your eye line will go out to the wall. And now Sandberg is hopefully going to head in for a lap. Oh, a bit of wheel spin down turn 1. He's pushing a lot harder here. Yeah, this is a full power lap. He's got a bit of traffic ahead. Gets out of the way, fantastic. One in this hand.
I think it was Buemi.
It was his pal, yeah, Buemi.
It wasn't actually, it was Gunter, my apologies, but it was funnier that it was Buemi.
It was, yeah. We could have gone with that, Jack. No one would have known.
I like to be accurate. I've decided from now on.
Well done. Up the hill through turn 5, now turn 6. Watch how the side street comes in. You hear the bump as the side street intersects with the racetrack. You hear the car slapping the ground, the wheels coming off the surface. Very good through turn 7. Sam's on a good lap. Bit of traffic ahead, as you see. That's going to cost him some time, but not a massive amount. Turn 10. Quick to the right for 11, now onto the bumpy, straight up to the chicane of 12, 13. Look down at the dash. Now you're trying to just pick out the apex curb. 12, 13, managed to make it through again. I think every lap there is a challenge. Trying to carry maximum momentum through 14. Bit of understeer at the apex, but looking good. It's very easy to get offline in the Marconi corner. I lost the back. You heard the tyre slide across the surface. Now braking for 16. Some bumps. Now this is the section you've got to thread one corner into the next, into the next. You can't overdo any of the corners because it messes up the next one. One more corner to go. You've done all the hard work. Don't run out too wide and hit the wall and exit as you cross the timeline. Sandberg P4.
You can keep pushing, Sam, if you want. You can keep pushing.
Sam being told he can keep pushing if he wants to. Robin Freitz to the top of the times now. Roland second. Verline third. De Vries fourth. And here is Lucas de Grassi, who kind of came back through okay yesterday. He started 12th, got involved in the collision at the first lap up at turn 7, dropped back to about 16th or 17th, and I think still came through to finish 11th, which, no points, but reasonable enough progress. De Costa's on a full power lap here, so we'll keep an eye on him as you respond to that de Grassi point.
Yeah, go back to Mortara. He got a 5-second penalty, and he still had that result yesterday, so that was just to sort of, 7th with that. Impressive day's work as we watch De Costa, Mortara, sorry.
Yeah, they're both on push laps. De Costa and Mortara both running at 250 here. Vern gets out of the way.
He's trying to get out of the way.
Yeah. So De Costa is 300ths up after the middle sector. Mortara is 3/10 up on Price's time, but he's just taken all of the advertising out and almost gone into the barrier.
It's like he got.
It's like
he lost the back.
It's like the wheel on the grass vibe, but just a wheel in the concrete.
Yeah, he just he got a little bit out of shape on the brakes, got into the wall a little bit, and you can see he was just carrying too much speed. So the pace is there in the Venturi. Just got to put a lap together.
Just quickly a point on Askew. He missed a lot of running yesterday after hitting the wall in free practice. So not getting any free practice today is gonna scupper him also. De Costa across the line, he goes fastest to 39.662. Mortara didn't improve because of that Larry moment that we saw at the chicane. Here's Nick de Vries, who's on full power. I asked him yesterday what went wrong in the race. He said, not quick enough. That was about it.
Yeah, he didn't make many friends yesterday in the race, Nick de Vries. He was, shall we say, very, very aggressive in his racecraft. So watch out for some payback today from some of the other drivers, I would say. Not that drivers would do such a thing.
And watch out for the double wave yellow.
Must
here
lift,
at
turn 8. Must lift, stationary car, caution.
What was that, a DS
But we
to
can then
Cheetah?
push in sector 3.
I think it was a DS to Cheetah that had come to a halt. Now, we did see Verne coming through that sequence, getting out of the way of people, didn't we? Oh, it's Giovinazzi, we think. It's Giovinazzi, okay. Here is Van Dorn. Now that was Stephen Lane saying, okay, you've got the double wave yellows here, but then push in sector 3 and we can use that data still. Oh, hey, De Vries.
Yeah, just locked the fronts, just a little bit too aggressive on the brakes and couldn't get the car into the apex, got onto the dusty part of the circuit. Look again, Stoffel Van Dorn did the same thing. Just pushing that a little bit too much. You've got to get the brake balance between front and rear axles, get it working together so it helps you to maximise your braking and it helps to turn the car a little bit at times. De Vries up to P5.
De Costa still quickest. Van Dorn up to 11th place.
Yeah, bear in mind again,
yeah,
the traffic and everything.
Ian James not leaning this morning on his little post. Here's Jean-Eric Verne, so he is going still, and the track is clear at turn 8, so I think he's been pushing the whole way around Jean-Eric Verne. He's 2 tenths away from De Costa after the first 2 sectors. De Costa did well yesterday, actually, because he looked like Verne had the advantage comfortably in all of the practice sessions, and then suddenly De Costa chipped in and out-qualified him. A little shake of the head from a little so-so manoeuvre, I would describe it, from James Rossiter.
James is going to have to work on his poker face. See Alexander Sims in the orange Mahindra. Yeah, as you said, a tough day yesterday. There's Jake Dennis in the Avalanche Andretti.
Here's a look back at Mortara. This was him sort of scraping the wall on the way into the chicane.
He had to pass the Jaguar, which put him offline. So
he locked
across.
up. He locked up on the left front, and that sent him into the wall.
But before that, he's come across from the right to the left on a slightly different trajectory than normal. Probably hit some different bumps. Watch his hands. Really sort of correct up until that point, but yeah, he's in different. Wow, yeah, he's coming across from the left to the right. That's not the normal line, and it just caught him out. That really was the driver's side view, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Mortara is a quarter of a second up in sector 1 this time. Still the championship leader. And through the middle sector now, he's 6 tenths up. So this is going to be a big lap here from Mortara.
Between 10 and 11, the Venturi changes direction so well. Watch it as it gets to the end of the lap here, Jack, when we go through sort of 16, 17 area. It's incredible compared to maybe the Jaguar, how well the Venturi changes direction.
Jake Dennis has now gone to the top of the times. And if some of you are just joining us this morning, this was the first podium today. Well, and I'm not going to say it because that might be spoilers. Maybe people haven't watched the F1 race, so I won't say that because it's a spoiler. I'll save it for the race later on. Yeah, okay. My producer hasn't watched it. Oh, so I can't use that stat all day then. I've got a really cool stat from Nina on Twitter. Oh well. Here comes Mortara across the line, and he goes quickest on a 1 minute 38.866. Pretty quick lap that.
I'm telling you, that Venturi, they've got the chassis working ever so well. That was quite shocking, just how well it changed direction.
Jerome D'Ambrosio, team principal. He did race here in Rome, didn't he? I can't remember his best result, Jerome D'Ambrosio. I'll have a look now. As the Mercedes come back into the pit lane.
Quick change of tyres, 6 minutes on the board, so if you're going to do another qualifying simulation, off you go. The problem with qualifying is group stages are done at 220 kilowatts of power, then you get into the joules and you can turn it up to 250. So which one do you really focus on? I think your theory's right, Jack. You focus on 220 because then the worst you can qualify is 8 if you get into the group, into the joule stages.
7th and 8th, D'Ambrosio finished 7th in Rome in season 4 for Dragon, and then 8th in season 5 for Mahindra. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's all right.
No wins.
Mitch Evans is on a lot.
Here we go then, down into turn 3 at the bottom of the hill.
Just that small flick of oversteer as he gets right out to the wall and exit. Let's see if it does the same thing in turn 4. Oh, neat and tidy out of 4. Very good at the moment.
Just under a tenth away from Mortara in sector 1.
Bit of traffic ahead though. Porsche gets out of the way.
There's just no drama when he brakes. I think that's the thing that stands out to me the most. Most other drivers, when they're on a push lap, it's just the braking looks right on the edge all the time.
Yeah, and that might be a style, it might be the way the Jaguar systems are working in the car, but whatever, the combination of the two clearly worked well yesterday. He's half a second down though. Not the pace that you're going to need for qualifying in a couple of hours' time.
Maybe too conservative on the brakes. Here we go, now he's locking up.
He must have heard you, Jack.
Yeah. I don't think, in fact, there's that famous story, isn't there, of Sterling Moss winning
at Goodwood.
Yeah, Goodwood, winning a race at Goodwood while he had the commentary playing on the radio.
Yeah, in a Ferrari 250 short wheelbase.
Yeah.
Which Ross Brawn might actually own now. Beautiful car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here comes Evans through the final corner and out across the line, and he goes 5th fastest, a second away in the end from Eduardo Mortara, despite the quick sector 1. And Mitch Evans complaining about his tyres on the radio, and this is what a street circuit looks like. Bumpy, dirty, tricky. Look at those bits and bobs flying everywhere.
This is them slamming the ground, like wheels off the ground, bottoms out, wheels back off the ground again, right in the middle of the braking zone. Yeah, that's part of the whole trick of being good on a street course, is dealing with all these types of things.
Absolutely. The only other driver listening to, as we see the Porsche slamming over the bumps on the way up over the zebra crossing, the only other quick driver listening to commentary while driving story I have, as Robin Freitz goes up into 2nd place, half a second away from Mortara, was Season 1 Formula E in Punta del Este, when Karun Chandok was driving us around the track on his team radio. He put the team radio on, he talked us around the track, it was great. And then for whatever reason, after that lap, he was still hearing the commentary for another lap, and he was on the radio going, guys, turn the commentary off.
Please.
So, exactly. So he had me and you chattering away. So very similar driver, Karun Chandok, to Sterling Moss. Here comes Andre Lotterer down into the chicane. He's on a full power lap, and he's 6/10 down. He's in Australia, so I know he's not listening, so it's fine. But he's
he'll watch the
down.
replay back because he's coming to play in Monaco.
Oh,
he?
yeah, he is actually, yeah.
Tell me he said that. Okay, Andre Lotterer, yeah, absolutely pushing the Porsche. The balance of the car does not look great. I missed the apex again. Bit of work to do on the Porsche, though, just with the balance of the car front to rear, getting the car working together.
Roland's done a decent first sector. His middle sector is now 4/10 away from Mortara. Dan Ticktum has gone 2nd quickest, 4/10 away from Eduardo Mortara. That's a bit of something. Lotterer across the line to go 3rd, slower than Dan Ticktum.
But not a terrible lap from Lotterer.
No, absolutely not. Roland is 4/10 down after the middle sector in the Mahindra, making his way into the back streets now.
Roland's a qualified machine, no doubt about it. They just need to finish a race today. They just need to get a result without some incident, I would say. That's Mahindra's goal for the day with Oliver Roland.
Well, he's been crashed out of 2 of the races so far this season.
Yeah.
Roland across the line, and he goes 6th quickest.
I mean, clearly yesterday was not his fault.
Yeah,
absolutely not. But that's what they needed. Oh, Mitch Evans through turn towards the end of the lap. Turn 11.
Yeah. When I said was crashed out, I meant he was crashed out by other people yesterday,
absolutely.
and in Diriyah by Robin Freitz.
Yeah. Here we go up to the chicane, turns 12 and 13. So Evans deals with the bumps.
Quarter of a second adrift at the moment. Pascal Verline's 200ths up in Sector 1. Jean-Eric Verne is 400ths away in Sector 1, so they're all pretty close to Mortara's time.
Evans the car looks a bit better. Than maybe got the tyres in the operating window for this lap.
Fastest middle sector from Jean-Eric Verne. You can see the pink down in the bottom right. Here comes Evans into the final left-hander. Out across the line. Evans goes 4th. And this is Jean-Eric Verne. Fastest middle sector. Now through the left. Out of turn 19. And across the line, does Vern get to the top? Yes, he does, and takes the checkered flag as well. At the same time, a 38.6. Pascal Wehrlein just coming through the left-hander now. He's a couple of tenths away. That's the timing beam now. Sims goes 15th. Wehrlein goes 4th. Bird now goes into 3rd place. Now here's Dan Ticktum, maybe a bit loose at the Marconi hairpin, but he was improving in sectors 1 and 2, so I don't know what on earth is going on here with the Neos. I'm not meaning to be disrespectful, but they qualify either last or second to last every race because he's backed up, I think.
Recently.
Recently.
But I mean, Dan Ticktum knows how to get it done on a street course. Watch his F3 and F2 form when you put him on a street course, and he's getting up to speed with Formula E, no pun intended.
Absolutely, and that is Jovan Sete Camera.
Sete Camera, yeah.
So that's off at turn 7. Ticktum backed off in the final sector. Here comes Antonio Felix da Costa. He is 3 tenths down after the first 2 sectors, so he's got a shot here at the top 3 because Vern's lap is 2 tenths ahead of Mortara, half a second ahead of Bird. Da Costa into the final turn. Good slide. Only 8th.
Yeah, I wonder if he got caught out with the yellow at turn 7 of Sete Camera.
7 is sector 2 though, and his sector 2 was a personal best. It was all his time lost in the final sector. So here's what happened to Sete Camera. Number 7 straight on to turn 7.
Yeah, just locking up and probably just thought, right, I'll just leave it here for a minute. Get his breath back.
Checker flag out, Oliver Askew. Such an impressive debut, but then things not falling his way this weekend, especially with that tap of the wall and then starting far down the field and then the car seemingly breaking down today. Not going to have a lot of running, but there's a very impressive Dan Ticktum. Had a bit of a collision at the start of the race yesterday with one of the Dragon cars as he sent it into turn 1, or into turn 4, I should say, technically. As he now returns to the pits, there is the Neo team.
Nice to see them get I know it's only practice, but get a bit of a result for the Neo guys because they're working as hard as anybody else in the pit lane. And it's, you know, it comes down to budget, it comes down to number of people because of budget.
And it also comes down to budget 3 years ago, or two and a half years ago, you know, when they're building this powertrain that's had to be homologated in what? March 2020, approximately, March or April 2020, they would have had to have built this powertrain for the 2020-2021 season. Then it's the same powertrain for 2021-2022, which is where we are now. So, yeah, that's 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago, they'd have been building it.
Yeah, you could have homologated it later. Maybe had that sort of staged homologation.
Okay.
But yeah, you're absolutely right.
But that was for Rome, which was April 2020, wasn't it?
21.
Okay, I take your point.
Yeah,
anyway,
but yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not just today.
Yeah,
it's historical, but it's great to see them having Dan Ticktum up in P4. Let's see if they can repeat it in qualifying. As we see the practice starts now, everybody lining up, trying to get the...
Turvey's ambitious now that Neo are looking good. He's starting on pole. Has had a pole position before, Oliver Turvey, in Mexico City in season 3. I committed to that. It was 3 or 4. I think it was 3.
You're going for this accuracy thing today, aren't you, Jack?
Oh, okay, hang on, I'll have a look. As he makes his way up the hill.
You see them all just practicing the starts and then driving around slowly cooling everything down.
59 races ago in Mexico City 2017 season 3. And his last podium was 47 races ago, which was Mexico season 4.
Go back to this a second. Not only are the drivers practicing starts, but they're practicing braking points for turn 1 and trying to figure out where are the bumps. If I go this far over to the left, how big is the bump? If I straddle the white lines in the middle of the road, how big is the bump there?
Why wouldn't you do every practice start from the inside? Because you know what the road is like from the outside down towards turn 1.
Yeah, but you approach it at a different speed off the start. And as we saw yesterday with the two DS to Cheetahs, where the inside and the outside lane moved at different rates. So you've really got to just figure out each line through those bumps. Well,
just gone 9 o'clock in the morning here in Rome. and this is the classification of free practice 3. Jean-Eric Verne passes a 1 minute 38.608, a quarter of a second ahead of Eduardo Mortara, half a second to Sam Bird in third, Ticktum 4th, Verline and Lotterer in 5th and 6th, Evans in 7th, De Costa 8th, Freins 9th, De Grassi 10th, Rowland in 11th position. And then we've got Dennis, De Vries, De Camera, Cassidy, the top 15, Sims, Buemi, Gunter, Van Dorn, and Turvey, the top 20, Giovinazzi 21st. Giovinazzi only did 8 laps in that session, so I wonder if he had an issue, because we saw him going slowly, didn't we? He got back out there at the end of the session, though. And Oliver Askew only did a couple of laps before the car seemingly broke down, unfortunately. So Verne, though, ends the session fastest ahead of Eduardo Mortara. What are you taking from that, Dario, that session?
I think Tim and P4 is quite impressive. I think the Jaguar guys have got the pace to qualify up front today. Interesting to see Stoffel Van Dorn down in 19th. I'm not sure he did a qualifying run. It's so mixed up, it's going to be a fabulous qualifying session.
Dan Ticktum hops out of his car and goes to have a look at the timing screens and maybe fairly happy with that one. Don't forget you can get involved as well with the racing later on today. Fan Boost voting is open. Oliver Rowland at the top with 31%. 19% for De Costa, 12% for Van Dorn, 7% for Giovinazzi, and 6% for Jean-Eric Verne. You can vote online at fiaformulary.com/fanboost. Your votes are limited to 1 vote per day. Or you can scan the QR code on the right-hand side, and the winner will get a power boost in the second half of the race. We saw someone make a move with, I think it was Van Dorn, made an overtake yesterday with fan boost, so it really can assist. So highlights of free practice 3. The Jaguars straight out, the Mercedes deciding to wait in there for a while. Lock up from Robin Freins as he made his way around and tried to get some temperature into the brakes. Buemi out on circuit, picking up the leaves. The Mercedes picking up the sparks. Oh, Bird had a little moment up at turn 7. Reversed and got back on his way without any trouble. Big lock up from Nick Cassidy. And he then tried to do a donut, or a Yui, and then knocked to the rear of the car. All seemed vaguely all right. Not all right for Oliver Askew. Sims going past Gunter. Big lock up for Giovinazzi. Still managed to get it turned in. Lock up as well for Mitch Evans as he came into the left-hander. Tagore Porsches looking reasonable with Verline in 5th and Lotter in 6th. Mortara clipped the barrier on the way into the chicane and almost clipped the barrier on the way out of the chicane as well. Sims went in a bit deep. Lock up from the Neo coming up into the left-hander of turn 7. Antonio Felix Da Costa. And there was the happiness from James Rossiter, because Da Costa's teammate Verne ended the session fastest. So Da Costa back in the pits. And now time for another meeting before qualifying. We will be going on air at 10:30, so 1 hour and 20 minutes time. It's about an hour and a half till the session itself gets underway. Make sure you come back and join us, because if Jaguar can have a good qualifying session with the race pace they had yesterday, they are going to have a very impressive time. Lucas de Grassi will want to get into the duels and have a reasonable qualifying run after not picking up any points yesterday. His teammate Eduardo Mortara, still the championship leader.